All right, here's some French reading and historical context for you today. So this is a question on Google somebody had asked, and this is a Reddit article, Reddit article that I'm going to read. Is it true that Napoleon Bonaparte said women are nothing but machines for producing children? So I'll read what this translation is actually pretty good. I'll read what Napoleon said, or what apparently he said, because this was transcribed by Gaspard Gourgard, and it was from a diary entry of his, which was actually brought out after his death, about 40 years after his death. So this is quoting from his diary. So je fais ce que je peux pour améliorer le sort des bâtards. Je fais ce que je peux. I did what I could pour améliorer le sort des bâtards, to improve the lot of the illegitimate children, bâtards, bastards, to improve the lot of the illegitimate children, des malheureux bien innocents et qui sont pourtant déshonorés. The unfortunate innocents who are nevertheless dishonored. But on ne saurait pas beaucoup tenir. On ne saurait pas beaucoup tenir pour eux. So, but it wasn't possible to risk much for them. On ne saurait pas beaucoup tenir pour eux. Wasn't possible to risk much for them, sans porter atteinte à l'institution du mariage. Sans porter atteinte means without without killing, without jeopardizing, without undermining. So this is, I guess, a phrase. Porter atteinte means, sans porter atteinte is without harming. Porter atteinte is to undermine. So, sans porter atteinte à l'institution de mariage. So, but it wasn't possible to risk much for them without killing the institution of marriage. Pour Jean, alors, c'est marieriant. Few people then would get married. Pour des gens, few people alors then would get married. Autrefois, in the olden days, in the good old days, autrefois, en même temps que sa femme en avait des concubins. So, in the olden days, men had concubines and a wife at the same time. En même temps que sa femme en avait des concubins. So, when men had concubines and a wife at the same time, et les bâtards n'étaient pas méprisés comme ils l'ont de nos jours. So, et les bâtards n'étaient pas méprisés. So, et les bâtards. And illegitimate children were not held in so much contempt as they are in these days. And illegitimate children n'étaient pas méprisés comme ils, as they are, comme ils sont de nos jours, as they are held in these days, in our times, right? As they are in these days. So, je trouve. So, in the olden days, men had concubines and a wife at the same time, and illegitimate children were not held in so much contempt as they are these days. That's what that means. Je trouve ridicule. I find it ridiculous qu'un homme ne puisse avoir, that a man cannot have légitimement, legally, qu'un can have, okay, qu'un with more than qu'un seule femme, more than one wife, one woman, basically. So I find it ridiculous that a man should not be able to have more than one legal wife. Quand elle, quand elle est grosse, c'est comme s'il n'y avait plus. When she is gross, when she's fat, c'est comme, it's as if s'il n'y avait plus. It's as if he doesn't have any. So if she's fat, it's as if when she's fat, it's as if he doesn't have a wife at all anymore, right? On n'a plus de concubins, on n'a plus de concubins, c'est vrai. On n'a plus, we don't have concubines today, it's true. Mais but we do have mistresses, the maîtresses. Mistresses, ce qui dérange bien plus les fortune, ce qui dérange bien plus les fortune. Who we do have mistresses who mess up men's fortunes even more, he says. Je parle pour les gens aisés. I'm speaking of rich men, les gens aisés. I think that's rich men. I'm speaking of the well-to-do, les gens aisés. Car les pauvres n'aiment pour rien nourrir plus d'un. Because the poor, they're not able to feed, nourish. They're not able to feed more than one. And speaking of the well-to-do, since the poor cannot feed more than one wife. En français, les femmes sont trop considérées. Les femmes sont trop considérées. In France, the women are considered too much. In français, women are considered too much. There you go. Elles ne doivent pas être regardées comme les égalés des hommes. Elles ne doivent pas. They shouldn't be. They shouldn't be seen as equals of men. Elles ne doivent pas être regardées comme les égalés des hommes. They shouldn't be regarded as equal to men. Et ne sont en réalité que des machines à faire des enfants. Et ne sont en réalité que des machines à faire des enfants. And in reality are nothing, they are are nothing more than machines for making children. Que des machines à faire des enfants. Pendant la révolution, during the revolution, l'insurgent, they rose up. During the revolution, they rose up. S'érigeant en assemblée, set themselves up in assemblies, voulaient même se former en bataillon, even wanted to form battalions. On fut obligé de réprimer cela. On fut obligé de reprimand. On fut obligé de réprimer cela. We had to put a stop to that. Le désordre se fut entièrement mis dans la société. le désordre se fut entièrement mis dans la société. Les femmes étant sorties. Okay, le désordre se fut entièrement mis dans la société. There would have been disorder in our society. See if les femmes étant sorties d'été, if the women étant sorties, if the women left de l'état de dépendance, their state of dependence, où elles deviennent rester, where they should remain. So disorder would have taken over the society if women had left the state of dependence, where they should remain. C'était de lutte. There would have been continuous fighting. C'était de lutte de combat. C'était de lutte de combat continuel. There would have been continuous fighting. And then he says, un sexe doit être soumis à l'autre. Un sexe doit être soumis à l'autre. One sex must submit to the other. Right, so reading everything in English again, I did what I could to improve the lot of the illegitimate children, the unfortunate innocents who are nevertheless dishonored, but it wasn't possible to risk much for them without killing the institution of marriage. Few people then would get married. In the good old days, men had concubines and a wife at the same time, and illegitimate children were not held in so much contempt as they are these days. I find it ridiculous that a man should not be able to have more than one legal wife. So he's basically saying that if he had to do anything for these illegitimate children, he would have to. The only thing he could do is basically make it legal for people to have more than one wife or more than one woman. And in that case, he's saying that people wouldn't get married anymore. He would just totally destroy the institution of marriage. And so that's why he didn't do anything for the illegitimate children, is what he's saying. And he says, I find it ridiculous that a man should not be able to have more than one legal wife, because when she's fat, it's as if he doesn't have a wife anymore. True, we don't have concubines anymore, but we do have mistresses who mess up men's fortunes even more. And speaking of the well-to-do, I'm speaking of the well-to-do, since the poor can't feed more than one wife. In France, women are considered too much. They shouldn't be seen as equals of men. And in reality, they're nothing more than machines for making children. During the revolution, they rose up, set themselves up in assemblies, even wanted to form battalions. We had to put a stop to that. If women had left the state of dependence where they should remain, disorder would have taken over our society. There would have been continuous fighting, and one sex must submit to the other. That was Napoleon's opinion. This was written when he was in exile, in his final exile on St. Helena. And the diary entry is from January 1817. As you all know, he went to St. Helena in October 1815, and he basically remained there for about 5.5 years, and where he died, I think probably of stomach cancer, in May of 1821. So he spent over 5.5 years there. And St. Helena is an island it's in the South Atlantic Ocean. It's an island in between Brazil and in between South America and Africa. And this was a British-controlled island. I think it still is. So that's the passage reading. Obviously, I don't agree with any of that. Sex is of greatest importance for procreation and for the growing of human race, but it is of least importance for an actual survival and flourishing of human race, because by the nature of human beings, we are meant to survive by using our mind, by thinking, by using nature and the tools that are available in nature to our greatest advantage, and planning in that aspect with long-term planning, basically. So that's how we survive, that's how we flourish. And sex is of least importance in that regard, and men and women are equal in that regard in terms of thinking. So in terms of in that sense, men and women are equal in every aspect, are equal overall. So one sex does not have to submit to the other. So hopefully that was good French, some good French reading, some historical context, and some philosophy. All right. Talk to you guys later.